Hey, what's up everybody? It is Matt from Grizzly Game Cliches, and today we're doing a Let's Play of RimWorld. This is a game that I was talking about in our most recent podcast, and Justin had never heard of it before, so I figured there's probably quite a few of you out there who have never heard of this game, so we're just going to go ahead and jump right in. Now, I am going to be using mods. You can just go ahead and pause here if you want. I've got a pretty large list of mods, but you know, if people want, I can totally do a just a playthrough with no mods. But yeah, I think it's a little bit more interesting with mods. It adds a lot to the game. So yeah, there you go. Those are all the mods that we have, and I'll try and explain, you know, a little bit more about that as we go. So I guess we'll just go ahead and get started. We're gonna go new colony. I'm just going to go with the standard crash landed. There's different scenarios that you can choose from. Crash landed is basically 3 people crash land on a planet. This is the classic experience, essentially. This is the one that was the only one in the game for the longest time. There's the Rich Explorer, which is you only start with 1 character, but you have a lot of stuff. And this one's actually pretty interesting. And then there's Lost Tribe, where you start with more people, but your technology level is significantly lower, and you don't start out with things like electricity or any of that kind of stuff. And then you can also go into the Steam Workshop, and people have put out their own scenarios. Because, you know, if you click on this one, you can go down to Scenario Editor, and then Edit Mode, and then you could just change all of the parameters for when you start. But like I said, we're not going to do any of that. So the game, basically you have 3 different AI storytellers, and basically they just determine how things are sent at you in the game, things like raids and whatnot. Cassandra Classic is pretty much the standard. It just kind of gets more difficult as you go along. Phoebe Chillax is really nice because she hits you with just as many things as Cassandra Classic, but it's over longer periods of time. And then Randy Random is just... You have no idea what is going to happen. I've never played with him before because it's just kind of crazy. So we're going to go Cassandra Classic, and we're going to go on extreme difficulty because that is the only way to play the game. You can randomize your seed. We'll actually do the Cliche Gamer seed. We'll generate. So that just generates our world. So there we go. That's the Cliche Gamer world. Now, basically at this point we need to pick a starting location, and this is kind of important because I am playing on such a high difficulty. I think I'm just going to start with like a temperate forest, hilly, probably get one where we can have growing year-round, and one that has a pretty decent climate, not too hot, not too cold. Let's see, maybe up here. Nope, that's going to be colder. Maybe over on this side. First of spring. I don't know that we're going to get... Oh, here we go. A year-round. There we go. It's right around here in the middle. Let's say here. Maybe here. There we go. So we want the hilly because we want to have access to at least some minerals and things like that. But we're not going to be digging into a mountain. Or do we want to do a mountain? No, we'll keep it hilly. And then I'm also going to go, I like to go with this size, the 325 by 325. Anything smaller and I feel really, you know, claustrophobic, but you don't want to go too big because the game can have serious performance issues the bigger that you go. So we're going to do 325 by 325. Starting season is auto. We're going to select. Now, I have the Prepare Carefully mod, but I'm not actually going to use it. We're just going to kind of get what we get. One thing that I don't want is anyone who's incapable of dumb labor, because that's things like hauling and whatnot, which is just not good. So this guy's pretty good. This is their skills. This is like a little bit of a backstory. You can kind of read up on different things. The incapable of is just things that they can't do, and then traits, they're different things like green thumb, you know, you're better at growing. So this guy's good. He's got a chemical fascination, which is kind of lame, but, you know, overall a pretty decent skill set. He might end up being our researcher. So he's pretty decent. Incapable intellectual and crafting. That's actually not a huge deal because we can have, like, this guy might be our crafter. He's really good at mining, which actually probably isn't even going to help us here because we're not going to be doing a crazy amount of mining. So now this is something that's new in the game. So there's relationships. So she is actually married to this guy over here. So I guess we'll go ahead and keep her, even though she's neurotic. So yeah, we'll just jump right in. Alright, so the three of you awake in your crypto-sleep sarcophagi to the sound of sirens and ripping metal. You barely get to the escape pods before the ship is torn apart. Sometime later, you land on this unknown rimworld. As places of the shredded starship fall around you, you start making plans to survive. So, here we go. Basically, our guys are going to start off sick. She's going to be throwing up because of the crypto-sleep sickness. We got a random pet, which is just so happens to be a husky, which is really good. We're going to go ahead and pause real quick. So when you first land, all your things are going to be forbidden. So I like to unforbid everything, just so that when we go and try to use these materials, we're not having any kind of issue with permissions and things like that. Second thing I like to do is I like to look at my character's stats. Whoever has the highest shooting stat is going to be our hunter. So that's this guy. So we're going to equip him with the survival rifle. Second highest is Leslie here. She's going to get the pistol. And then this guy, Hammer, is going to get the knife. So basically, the first thing you're going to want to do is figure out lodging, where your people are going to stay. We have a pretty decent climate, so I'm not super worried about things like, being too hot or too cold. That's kind of one of the nice things about a temperate forest area. Give me just 2 seconds. I have a feeling that music probably was a little bit too loud, so hopefully it's a little bit better now. Still kind of learning at this. So something that's kind of tempting is to open this. But the problem with this is sometimes when you open these areas up, these are just a building that was already here when we got here. The only problem with opening this up is that there's a chance that there could be all number of things in there, which could potentially destroy our colony very quickly. So what I think I'm going to do instead is I'm going to go over here. I saw this. This actually looks kind of nice. I'm just going to do a wall here, put a door here. That'll be a nice little starting area, and then maybe we'll open these things up eventually, but you really want to be equipped for that because, you could have mechanoids, you could have people who are in sarcophagi that wake up and want to kill you. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff that could happen. We're also going to stockpile all of our stuff over here. I like to just make sort of a general stockpile where you can put basically everything, and then we'll kind of get more specialized as time goes on. The other thing that I want to do real quick, people like to sleep on their own, but during the beginning here, we're not going to have individual rooms yet necessarily. And then the last thing that we're going to do, I'll pause it real quick, is we're going to go manual priorities. I like to set manual priorities because it just gives me greater control over what my people do. So do that. Flick is important. Power conservation if we need it. He's going to be our negotiator. So all of these that are like boxed means that they have a passion for it, and usually that means that they're pretty high in that skill too. So like Leslie here is a 13 out of 20 in handling, and then if we look at her, she has basically 2 flames, so her passion for it is burning, so she learns significantly faster. So obviously when we go to tame animals, that's something that we're gonna have her do. Same thing here. I believe this was our guy. Yeah, so he's our hunter. And I'll try and explain a little bit more of this as we go along. I like to do construct. I like to have everybody repair because we're on extreme difficulty. This may be a short-lived playthrough if we Don't have anyone doing repair, so I'm gonna need someone to do the hauling and cleaning pretty much right off the bat, and I think it's gonna be Leslie here because we probably won't be taming any animals for a while. He's gonna be a researcher when we get there. And we'll worry about crafting when we get there. We'll also have her do plant cutting. Alright, so now that's figured out. Now basically the way that this game works is that you don't directly control people. I mean, you can when you recruit them to fight, but we're probably not going to deal with that for a little bit. So basically you tell them to do things like, hey, I want a wall built here, I want a door built here, I want my stuff moved here, and then they go out and do it for you, as opposed to you saying, you know, hey, you do this, you do that, you do this. I mean, you can click on people and have them prioritize stuff, but there's no real way of directly controlling your people for things like this. So first real thing that I want to establish is I want to get some rooms. Actually, before that, we are going to chop some wood, just like I'll say that much. It's probably going to be our main building material because, as you can see, we have a crap ton of wood on this map because it is so large. And so basically these people are going to be throwing up simply because they have cryptosleep sickness, which is just something that they start out with. So hopefully we've expanded our home area, which is this blue area here. So Leslie should hopefully, when she's done hauling, she'll clean this whole area up, hopefully. So, like I said, first thing we're going to really want to do is make some rooms, and I don't think we're going to go fancy. I kind of like to build off of things, so do we want to make... we'll do it like this. We'll go, let's say 6 by 12. Just pause it real quick, too. And then boop. And actually, because these two are married, they're going to want to have a bed together. So actually what we can do is go like that. People prefer to have big rooms. So if you can, it's always a good idea to give it to them because it'll just make them happier. One of the big problems that people are going to run into with this game is keeping your people happy, because if they're not happy, then they'll have a mental breakdown. And when they have mental breakdowns, they basically can't do any work. So it's a good idea to keep your people happy, if at all possible. Oh, interesting. So they've already broken up, so that kind of throws my entire plans out the window. Really? They already broke up? Did he break up with her? Ah, dude. Why would you do that? You crash down from a spaceship and your first thought is, I should probably break up with her. Well, that complicates things, certainly. But I think we're just gonna go out like that, like that, like that, and then instead of a double bed, because they don't need a double bed anymore because they're no longer together, we are just going to do regular bed and regular bed and door and floors. A lot of people are going to say there's no real point in making all this nice stuff for your people at the beginning of the game. I disagree. I think that it's really important to keep your people happy. Because if you don't, then like I said, they can have mental breakdowns, and then it just makes the rest of the game that much more difficult because you're trying to get all this stuff accomplished. And normally it's you know, either make defenses before a raid or something like that. And if you don't have your full workforce, well then you know, it just kind of complicates things. So yeah, this is going to use a lot of resources, and some people would say it's a waste of time, but I disagree. So the other thing I don't really do a whole lot of is I don't play this game on the 3x speed a whole lot. I like to keep it either at 1 or 2. Because I know some people, they'll just set up a bunch of stuff to be built, click on, you know, the 3, and then just call it a day. So we've had our first minor break risk already, and no kidding, it's Leslie because she just got broken up with. Yeah, I see, that's a minus 20. That's going to last for an entire season. Alright, so that was kind of weird. I think because my headphones are old and they're kind of dying, I think they just like kind of blew up a little bit. Which is weird. I'm going to turn the game volume down just a little bit more. Okay, so now we're back. Anyway, what we were talking about. Oh yeah, that's right. The tragic divorce of Leslie and Rindal. So yeah, like I said, people have needs and they have a mood. So because she got divorced, she is going to have a negative mood. And I don't think because he divorced her, I don't think he's going to have a negative mood because of it. Obviously, because he broke up with her. So yeah, anyway, I mean, not only do you have to track people's food and all that kind of stuff, but, you know, you also have to make sure that everybody likes each other, which at this point, we're already off to a bad start. The next thing that I really want to get started is power. I'm just going to make... In the beginning, you don't really have a whole lot power-wise. Where am I looking? Here we go. But I'm just going to make a fuel generator. I think we'll probably do it here, and then we can make this our food storage, and then we can have like a food area up here. So once these beds are made, we can actually just get rid of these sleeping spots because we won't need them, and we can designate this area as our food stockpile. In fact, actually, just get rid of them right now, so that way we don't have to worry about that anymore. So we'll do stockpile zone here. We're gonna change it to clear all, and we're going to do food and corpses, but not human corpses or mechanoid corpses. We just want animal corpses so that when my hunter kills stuff, he brings them here. And then we're just going to get rid of food from that so that all of our food goes here. Wonderful. Great. So that's pretty good to start. What we're going to do is basically at this point kind of wait for that. I don't want to put too much out because if you put too many things out for your people to do, what sometimes will happen is they'll build like half of one building, half the other building. I have a mod on that should hopefully get rid of some of that. I forget the name of it, but hopefully that won't be an issue. But even still, it's kind of become my habit to not get too ahead of myself when I'm doing building and stuff like that. So she should really be cleaning. Oh, because she's hauling. Right, got it. Okay, that's fine with me. So with this, the other thing, because we need to keep our food cold, otherwise it'll go bad, we're going to need a cooler. You're going to want to make sure it's going the right direction. You want the blue side going inwards. So basically it's going to keep this cold. Yeah, of course Leslie has a major break risk. She got divorced after she just fell from a spaceship and crash landed in a crash pod and was throwing up everywhere. So yeah, she might actually have a mental breakdown, which being that this is extreme difficulty, it could be worse than like basically depending on your difficulty, your mental breakdowns are totally random, I think. So it could be anything from they're just walking around in a daze to you know, they want to set everything on fire, or they're just going to start hitting people, or I mean there's really any number of things that she could potentially do. But we're just going to hope that, you know, she stays. This right here is their mental break threshold. So this little arrow right here, if they go any lower than that, then they're gonna break. So as you can see, well, these are actually their 3 break thresholds right there, and then that's where they're at right now. So any lower, so this is a minor break risk. This is major, and then if they go down below this, then they break for sure. I believe that's how it works. So basically we're going to wait and hope that she doesn't break down. Because they're not done with the beds yet, we're just going to put down some sleeping spots so that the people don't sleep on the floor, because they will do that because they're idiots. And then we're actually going to set the owner of this to Leslie. She gets the first bed because, you know, she got dumped on day 1. Rindal, why would you start out the colony like that? That is just not a good start to the colony. Man. Alright. Anyway, so everyone's just kind of working. I think eventually what we'll do, we'll get our little planning tool out, is we're obviously going to expand upwards. You know, I would say probably this area, because you also have to think about defense when you make stuff. So you want an area that's pretty easily defensible. So it's really nice to have natural landmarks and stuff around you. So like for instance right here, this would be a good spot because you could wall off this area and then pretty much no one's going to attack you from that area. They would have to attack you from this area right here, which seems really big, but that's a lot easier to wall off than, you know, I'm basically going to have to box myself in. I'll probably go like this and then like that. Actually, because we can't build on water, it'll probably be more like that and then like that. And I mean, you don't necessarily have to wall yourself in, but being as we're on extreme difficulty, there's a pretty good chance that we're going to get wrecked pretty early on. So yeah, in fact, I'm actually just going to start. We'll have them build that and then we'll do this. Just get the ball rolling on this. And we don't have any turrets or anything because we don't have any researched yet. So we'll go ahead and get a research table going and everything so that we can do that. But we also are going to want some kind of defenses. So normally what people do is they make what's called a kill zone. And a kill zone is essentially an area where there's one spot, unless they break down a wall, that people can actually get into your base. And you just litter that area with all kinds of bad things for them. I don't know that we're going to go that crazy. To start, I actually think I'm just going to do like door here, door here, door here. And then I don't really normally play with kill zones, but I might actually make one, like basically do like an inner rim. So something like, this will make more sense when I actually make it, but do like this, this, and then we can do like this, like that. Shut up, stupid computer error. Boom, 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 boom. And so then basically do like, I can actually just wall it off and then wall it off. So basically the only ways that they're getting in my base are here, here, and here, and then they have to travel along this entire area to, you know, here to then get in. Well, we could do any manner of things here, like you know, deadfall traps. We can do you know, we can have sandbags to give ourselves cover. We could do all kinds of stuff, but I think right now we might just do that and then do some deadfall traps, because the downside to deadfall traps, unless they changed it, is that your own people can get hit by them. So you kind of have to be careful, because if it's an area where your people go through a lot, then there's a chance that they're going to get hit. But for instance, like, I mean, how often are my people assuming that they can go, well, yeah, like I said, I've never made a kill zone before. I've never played with them because I just think it's a little cheesy, but the only reason I'm doing it is because we are on extreme difficulty, and I just have a feeling that this is not going to be a very long series, so we're going to try and make it go on as long as possible. That being said, I mean, losing in this game is not necessarily the end of the world, just because it is part of the game, I think. So yeah, if you do end up playing this game, don't be afraid to lose. So we're going to set this, even though it's not necessarily powered yet. I suspect that's because we don't have any wood here. We're just going to set it to freezing temperatures, so 0 degrees Fahrenheit. Or actually, I mean, it would be below 32 degrees, but we're just going to keep it at even 0, because things last forever when they're frozen. I lied earlier. The only time that I do actually go on 3rd speed, oh man, that's really, really laggy, so we'll just keep it on 2. But normally, if I don't have anything to do through the night while everyone's sleeping, I'll go on speed 3, but that's really the only time. I think one thing that I am going to want to do now is get growing situated. So basically, ooh, need warm clothes. Oh, that's easy. Basically, this is just saying that when the cold season does come, the outdoor temperature is going to reach 41, which is not that bad. So we're just going to actually start, like, let's say that big, and do potatoes. Potatoes are good because they can be eaten raw. People don't like it when they eat them raw, but the other alternative to that is rice, which grows a little bit faster, but people hate it when they eat it raw. They get a serious mood debuff, so we're just going to keep it as potatoes. And then our grower, Rindal, the divorcer, as we shall call him, will go ahead and do that. And the one thing that I also forgot to do is go to restrict. So this is basically the entire day. And what you want to do early on is restrict at least a little bit to a portion of the day where they always work. So like this white part is when they can do anything. This is when they're sleeping. This is when they have to do work. So I don't think you want to do their entire day with just work, because you'll burn people out really quickly. But to a certain degree, especially early on, you need to have some dedicated work. Usually as I get later on, I will just change it to anything, normally all day. I mean, depending on how it goes. But yeah, so we want to do this, and then actually what I'm going to do is just change chop wood to our entire area. We'll just have this be like our little compound area, and we'll kind of build everything within this area, and then obviously we'll expand out as we go on. I don't think people can walk across water, so we might use that to our advantage here. Might eventually wall these off, and then like I said, we're going to want to break into these two buildings, but I don't want to do it yet because I don't know what's in there. Normally when your guys walk by, it'll tell you if it's something like, I forget the exact verbiage, but they basically say that they sent something super evil inside here. Being that I haven't seen that yet, I'm guessing it's probably just either crypto sleep sarcophagi or something like that. I mean, what we might also be able to do is just save our game, break them open, and then see what's in there, and if it's anything terrible, we could just revert our save. Or we could just throw caution to the wind and say fuck it, and then break into them and see what happens. You know what? Should we get a little bit more secured first? Caution to the wind. Oh, here's something that I forgot. So, see this little red area? So your in order for your coolers to actually work, they have to have somewhere to vent. Because this entire area right now is getting upwards of like 200 degrees. So once we dig this out, and in fact we're going to have, yeah, he's going to do it, dig this area out so that it can vent out, and because it's not actually cooling right now. This is actually pretty similar, I believe, to how air conditioners work in real life. Although I could be totally wrong because I don't know much about air conditioning. But hopefully as soon as this breaks open, we should be good. Yeah, see, it just went down to 53 degrees, and then this is going to slowly make its way down to 0 degrees. So, good deal there. So, that's going to get done. He's going to do our potatoes. I kind of want to just break this open because this would be a nice little area to have, but if it's like some kind of ancient mechanoid, we could be completely screwed because we would get absolutely decimated. Let's throw caution to the wind. We're going to save. And let's deconstruct it. Break down just the one to start. We'll have our guy with our... Oh, hammer's going to go do it. So we'll know here pretty quickly what is in here. This is potentially dangerous, and I actually don't recommend that anyone ever does this. But because this is an extreme playthrough, we kind of have to throw caution to the wind sometimes and just jump in. Okay, so that was... So... basically nothing, so that's fine. Let's actually have you prioritize deconstructing this other one. If we go 2 for 2, I'm actually going to be pretty happy because this is a nice little area that we can wall off here, wall it off here, and then maybe have a door like here to our main compound. So yeah, all right, sweet. Now I kind of want to break into this one, but because these ones had doors and this one doesn't, I have a feeling this is going to be crypto sleep sarcophagi. There we go, that word. So we'll kind of wait on that. We'll do it eventually, but just probably not right now. So potatoes, golden, golden, golden. We're actually going to train you to haul. So basically when you do this, what's going to happen is, I believe Leslie, because she's our handler, she's going to train this animal, and you can train them to do hauling. Now, they don't always haul. Oh, Leslie. She is rebounding quick. Did y'all just see that? She had that little... She attempted to woo him into a romance. Hammer, the other guy, she attempted to woo him into a romance, but then he rejected the advance. So, I believe that might actually be... Yes, he rebuffed by Hammer. So not only was she divorced by Rheindal, she then tried to romance the other guy, and the other guy was like, no. Leslie is not having a great time so far in our budding colony. Poor girl. We'll probably need get some more ladies at some point. So yeah, so she just trained him, and so if you go then to training, she did it with obedience because she has a 75% chance because her handling is so high. Normally you don't get people who passed 13. That's one of the highest I've ever seen. I mean, like with the prepare carefully mod that I have, you can do this manually, but it can get really easy if you do that. You have to kind of hold yourself to the honor system, which I just didn't feel like sitting there and putting everyone's stats in. So yeah, so I need someone who's actually got construction as one, like hammer, because we don't necessarily need this right now. So that's a little trick I did. If you want someone to stop doing something, you can either like click on something else and have them prioritize it, or actually, oh, you know what I need to do real quick is I need to forbid all of this so that he builds this first. This is what I was talking about earlier with, you know, getting ahead of yourself in terms of building, because I don't want these walls first. I want these walls first. So yeah, so now he won't build any of this, and he'll do this. So anyway, that trick that I just did was I drafted him real quick. So you click on something, you click R, drafts them into your army, then you can directly control them and have them go attack stuff. Yeah, like I said, you can either prioritize something or just hit that draft button, turn it on off, and then they'll stop what they're doing to go do something else. Normally if it's something that's higher on the priority list. Like I said, we go back to the work, so, you know, I had construction is now more important than mining for him, so, you know, they go left to right and then 1 to 4, so they'll do all the 1s from left to right, then they'll do all the 2s left to right, then all blah blah blah. So like I said, if you're just starting the game, I'd recommend just not doing that and just doing the non-manual priorities, and then you just check things, and then they basically just go from left to right in terms of priority. That's a lot less complicated of a way to do things. I've just played this game quite a bit, so I say quite a bit. I've played like 60 hours. I mean, to me that's quite a bit, but hey. We'll also just forbid these doors. We also need, I want Rindal actually do plant cutting over mining. So we'll do the same trick. Oh, something's getting attacked. Oh, it's a timber wolf. So yeah, my husky will probably do the same thing. As opposed to eating our food, he's probably just gonna hunt like squirrels or hares or something. At some point, what we're probably gonna want to do is have a like an animal pen. We'll probably want to tame some animals, but that's down the line. So we'll see. So I think we'll probably go to the end of this day and then call that, which is actually right now. So we'll go on for a little bit longer. So yeah, let me know, you know, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you guys want to see. If you really want to, I can change the names of the characters in the game. So if you want to have your character in the game, yeah, just let me know and I can make that happen pretty easily. I think right now we have a pretty good start. Obviously, next thing we're gonna want is like a dining room type area. Type building, which I might actually make this, but the problem is that because our food storage is over here, you kind of want your dining room area to be close to your food so that they don't have to walk, you know, from these rooms over to here and then back over to here. But what we could also do is make like this another food storage and then make that, but you know what, I don't want to do that. We'll probably just do like here, because I think I can build some things you can't build on. So we can build here, so what I'll probably do is mine this, probably do like thusly. Of course we'll forbid those. So do like that. Mine this. Oh, that's not what I wanted. I'll mine that out. That'll be a nice little area. Yeah, I get it, Leslie. Everyone hates you, and you know you're the ugly duckling right now of the colony. But don't worry, someone's out there for you, Leslie. Somebody will eventually love you. I mean, it might be our dog Kenya, but somebody will eventually love you. Maybe. I don't know. I actually don't have high hopes. Is she have some sort of... Oh, see, that's the problem. one of her traits is abrasive. So the problem with abrasive people is that they tend to piss other people off. So I mean that makes sense. I probably should have thought ahead, but whatever. That's half the fun of the game, all right? Yeah. Ooh, reveal new area. No, we didn't. Come on, game. That doesn't count. That does not count. How did we fail training with 75% chance of success? Those are some Han Solo fucking odds right there, man. Let me tell you. Let me tell you. Alright, well, we're just going to wait until our folks go to sleep, and then I think we'll call that a first episode. Yeah, so I really look forward to continuing this series, and thanks everybody for watching.